have 3 games today, with the final game tomorrow night with the Texans and the Steelers. But 3 great games today. Looking forward to diving in with Ethan here, finding the best bets, seeing what bets to place, what bets to stay away from. Might get into some player props as well. We do have a little bit of college basketball, not a great college basketball day to day, but we do have a pretty big ranked Big Ten matchup between Illinois and Iowa. We're going to touch on here, and maybe a couple other games. But basically, like I said, this is basically, I'm going to keep saying basically, this is me and Ethan kind of picking each other's brains, and for you guys to pick our brains and see what bets we like, what bets you guys like. Please let us know in the comments what you're thinking for NFL or any other bets. We do have a couple NBA games as well, NHL, that I haven't even looked at much. But if you guys do want to touch on any other sports beside NFL or college basketball, please let us know in the comments, and we can touch on those. But yeah, we had 2 games yesterday. Unfortunately, I think both my predictions are wrong. I had the Rams spread and I had Packers on the money line, but fortunately found some other ways to make money. So it was a pretty good day for me. I know, Ethan, you had a frustrating day in the NFL, especially with that, the Bears comeback win. Once again, that's like their 15th of the year. We've been talking before the show. It's just not sustainable. We'll talk about it next round. See who they match up against, but it's probably going to be us fading the Bears once again, and maybe most likely us losing money, fading the Bears again. But Ethan, welcome. How are you feeling heading into today's games, and how are you after yesterday's games?
Yeah, I'm gun shy. Loved the Packers. I guess the only silver lining is like that had big potential to be my biggest play of the year, and I went a little bit bigger on it, but nothing crazy. So I guess that's silver lining. I didn't, overextend, and that would have been extremely painful the way that ended. But yeah, I don't know. I just I've never liked the Bears just with the Lions fandom, but this team, man, just drives me up a wall. I just can't get over it. They're not that good. I don't think I'm wrong when I say I think the 2 teams they'd be favor over on a neutral field of the playoff teams is Carolina and Pittsburgh, and I don't think they're favored over anyone else. So it's just frustrating that they keep finding ways to win. But hats off to them. It's hard to win in the NFL. They're finding ways to do it. I was on the wrong side. But yeah, not feeling too great about today's games. I'm kind of status quo from where I was when we filmed the episode. I really liked the Packers. That was the play that stuck out to me the most on Wildcard Weekend, and nothing else has really stuck out to me. So luckily I did stay off the Rams minus the 10 yesterday. I just didn't want to force it. Thought maybe I'd put a little more on the Packers instead of that. But yeah, I don't know. I might have one play today on the side, maybe some player props, but yeah, not in love with it. Last thing I will say, though, about yesterday, I keep bitching about Packers and IU. I did have the San Jose Sharks, who were down 2-0, then down 4-2, came back and won in overtime, which in hockey almost never happens for me. So I guess there was that.
Yeah. 2-0, most dangerous lead in sports is what they say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have, like I said, 3 NFL games today. Let's quickly touch on this college basketball game in the Big Ten, kicking off at noon here Eastern time in about 45 minutes. This is Illinois against Iowa. We did have finally a 3-1 day in our kind of system plays. I guess 2-1 on our system plays. We had the one loser being Indiana, who was up by like 10 at half and got outscored by 20 in the second half. So disappointing loss there, but we did get our money back on Florida, as well as who did Arkansas play? Auburn. Florida and Auburn were 2 system play wins. So it's good to see that system play coming back. This one really isn't that much of a system play. I actually didn't realize Iowa or Illinois is ranked. These rankings seem a little different than ESPN. But we do have, like I said, Big Ten game, 2 ranked matchups. Our 2 ranked teams. This is Illinois traveling to Iowa. Illinois is a slight favorite here, -1.5. Over under is 141.5, 142.5. I'm probably not going to bet this game, at least unless I find like a boost. I haven't even opened up my DraftKings today, so maybe there's a boost on this game. I'll throw $10 on, but I'm leaning Illinois slightly on the money line. Again, don't think I'm going to get there, but I do think Illinois would be my side in this game, but ultimately probably going to stay away unless I find some sort of boost. Are you liking anything in that game or any other college basketball game today?
Yeah, I'm in your same exact boat. Haven't opened the apps yet, so not sure if there's a boost. If there is, might use it on Illinois. But yeah, this for me, college basketball, I really do kind of like to just follow the systems and not go too far outside of that. Although I did fade Iowa on Tuesday, I took Minnesota plus 5.5. They ended up winning that game outright, and that was not a system play. That was just I thought it was a good spot to fade Iowa. I've seen Iowa in person this year. Michigan State blew them out. I think it was like 71-52. I'm not very high on Iowa. I know they're a 3-loss team. I know they're ranked in the top 20 here, but I'm way more impressed with Illinois. Their only losses this year are Nebraska, undefeated on the road, or no, sorry, that was at home. UConn and Alabama. So no real shame in their losses. Iowa's not bad either. Michigan State, Minnesota on the road, and I forget who they lost to before that. Iowa State. But yeah, I think Illinois is way better. Outside of Bennett Sturts, I don't really know who Iowa has. So yeah, not really a system at all, but I just think Illinois is better. I could see Illinois winning by like 20 points.
Yeah, I like it. And again, probably not going to bet it unless I do find a boost on a sports book, but haven't looked yet. Not super excited about that game either. It's not screaming at me. I'll turn it on before the Bills start, but yeah, it's not something that I'm like over excited to bet or to watch. We do have Ohio State playing Washington, another pretty good Big Ten matchup at 6 p.m. tonight. Don't have a bet there. And then nothing else in college basketball is really screaming at me unless you have anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had more to touch on, but I really don't either. I mean, my lean for Ohio State Washington would be Washington, but Ohio State's already been out west. They got the win over Oregon a couple nights ago, so it's tougher to come back and play Washington in that one. Yeah, some decent games to watch here. I just, from a betting aspect, if I don't play Illinois, I'm probably not playing anything.
Yep. I am seeing people on US or UCF as well. Maybe that might be a play for me against Cincinnati. But like I said, it's more of an NFL day for me. I'm really looking forward to this 1 p.m. game. So let's dive in. Do you have any before NBA or NHL at all?
One NBA I'll just quick touch on, and I don't know if I'll get there, but I kind of like the Timberwolves minus 2.5 or on the money line. I mentioned yesterday I liked the Spurs. They ended up getting that win 100-95 at the Celtics. Now they have to travel. No day of rest in between going to Minnesota from Boston. And the real kicker is they're on the road against Oklahoma City on deck, which they've had Oklahoma City's number this year, but still a big matchup ahead. But the Timberwolves also played last night, but they lost to the Cavaliers, and that was the day game. So a little bit more rest. They had to travel from Cleveland back home to Minnesota. Not quite as far of a travel from Boston. But yeah, I think just kind of think the spot here might favor the Timberwolves with San Antonio getting that win yesterday with Oklahoma City on deck. But I don't know if I'll end up getting there. I don't really like playing on a team, playing the second of a back-to-back, and both those teams are. So,
yeah. Like I said, it's kind of just an NFL day for us. So let's start off with what I think is the biggest game of the playoffs. I really think the winner of this game makes it to the AFC Championship game and probably the Super Bowl, and that is the Bills at the Jags. The Jags are a 1.5-point favorite. Over under 51.5. I know me and you have been so back and forth on this game. I know me and you are both extremely high on the Bills this postseason. It kind of seems like it's theirs to lose. But with that being said, they're an underdog traveling to a very hot Jacksonville team. And I'm seeing Sharps taking Jacksonville. We've also seen that Jacksonville might be a public play as well. So it's a tricky game here. I do have futures loaded up on the Bills. I think you do as well. So I'm a little, scared to be betting this game. Picking a game winner. Like I said, I think the sharp play is the Jags, but I really don't want to bet against Buffalo because I do need Buffalo. We'll be rooting for Buffalo in this game. So it's probably just going to be a player prop day for me. I haven't dove completely in, but I'm pretty tempted just to take Josh Allen to score a freaking touchdown. I'll have to look at his playoff stats and the Jags defense, but that's kind of where I'm eyeing here. Potentially Josh Allen touchdown, Josh Allen rushing yards. It's kind of what I'm eyeing in this Bills game. Like I said, if I had to pick a game winner, I would take the Jags, unfortunately, because I do think, in my opinion, that is the sharp side. But I don't want to get there because I need the Bills to win bad, and I'm rooting hard for the Bills. So tricky game. I'm really excited for it. Like I said, I think this game is the game of Wildcard Weekend, the game of the playoffs. Really think this is a not a cakewalk to the Super Bowl, but I think this sets whoever wins this game up pretty nicely to make it to is it in Miami? No. Yeah. No. No, that's the national championship game. I
San
don't know.
Francisco, I
San
think.
Francisco. That's correct. I think, yeah, but like I said, I think the winner of this game makes it to San Fran. Hopefully it's the Bills, but I have a bad feeling it might be the Jags. How are you feeling about Bills Jags?
Dawson Knox first touchdown. Sprinkle it, hit it. It's over. Yeah, probably gonna be on that in some way, shape, or form. But I'm starting to get more confidence in Buffalo.
Okay.
I think Buffalo's gonna win it. And I agree. I think if Buffalo gets past Jacksonville, they go to the Super Bowl. I think, yeah, I don't think the Patriots challenge them really again. I love that it's divisional and the Patriots are, probably gonna be the favored team. And yeah, I really like Buffalo's path if they can get past Jacksonville here. I think it sets up well. We mentioned it in our show, but the narrative is Buffalo can't win on the road. Buffalo hasn't won a road playoff game in the last 8 tries. It's been 33 years. But that's most of those are in Arrowhead or in Foxborough or wherever they are up in the cold with worse teams. Now they're down in Jacksonville. They're the experienced team. Jacksonville, not much experience in the playoffs. As of late, Trevor Lawrence does have that one season, but yeah, I think this is actually good weather that they're going to get. So I don't think the road really impacts them here. If I'm not mistaken, they were a pretty good road team on the season. But yeah, I'm getting more confident on Buffalo here. I think they're just the better team. I've said it so many times too. I just don't think teams come out of nowhere and go all the way to the Super Bowl. And really, Buffalo is the only team that I could see from the AFC that actually has a chance to win it all, if maybe not the Texans. So, yeah, I like Buffalo. I think they win. I think if you do like Jacksonville, first half is probably your better bet. Josh Allen has a tendency of pulling a rabbit out of his hat and winning these games late, maybe like a Chicago Bears game last night. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'll bet or what I'll bet today. Buffalo might end up making it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the first half there. I'm probably going to be taking that. The more I'm looking at that, it seems like it's going to be a Bills come from behind type of win if they do get the win here. So I do like the Jags, maybe the first half on the money line. Maybe you can find a special bet, a team to win from behind or Bills to win from behind. Sometimes books offer that. Like DraftKings and FanDuel are pretty notorious for offering those kind of game specials. So maybe you can find something like that, and I would be really interested in that. Or if you can't find that, maybe in the fourth quarter when the Bills are down, have a potential game-winning drive, take the Bills on the money line. Potentially that could be a play as well. But yeah, I think this is going to have to be most likely a full game pass for me. I will, like I said, maybe try to get involved on Buffalo Live or maybe take a Jacksonville first half money line or spread in this game. Like it's probably a player prop game for me though, like I said. So I'll be diving into player props. Hopefully I'll get a tweet out. I've been pretty bad at Twitter lately or X lately. So maybe I'll get a tweet out on my player props for the Bills game or a little same game parlay there. But yeah, let's move on. And again, if you guys in the comments have any predictions or questions on that Bills Jags game or any other game we're talking about, please let us know in the comments. But let's move on to the Niners at the Eagles. The Eagles are up to what, a 6-point favorite. Over under this game is 44.5. If the Eagles win, they'll be playing the Bears. If the Niners win, they'll be playing the Seahawks. In case you guys are wondering for future rounds. But this is a tricky one. I know we talked about this one. I know me and you both still kind of like the Niners, but this line movement is definitely a little surprising and a little alarming. I believe this was 3.5 or 4 in favor of Philly, and it's gone up to 2.5 points. So definitely big money or someone is pushing this line towards Philly. I assume Niners are a little bit public on DraftKings on the spread here, but yeah, this is a tricky game for me. I ultimately, my favorite bet would be the under of this game, 44.5 points. I'm seeing that's the sharpest play from what I look at on this game. So potentially an underplay for me. But I'm really having a whole lot of difficulty finding a bet in this game. We'll see how the 1 p.m. game goes. If I do dive into Niners Eagles completely, like I'm in love with NFL player props, so maybe I get involved there, but nothing really screaming out the page to me. What do you like, Niners Eagles?
Yeah, I can't bet this game because I know the Eagles are sharp. I also heard too that in the wild card, strength of schedule means a lot, and Eagles have the toughest strength of schedule of any team in the playoffs, and um, I think they win or cover like 65% or something like that historically. So, I don't know if that's maybe getting around and driving this lineup. I know it looks like Lane Johnson's in, Trent Williams is out, Ricky Pearsall is out. So injuries, I think, are really what's driving the line closer to a touchdown. I just don't buy it. Um, my eye test tells me San Fran's the better of these two teams. I know it's on the road. I know Philly's a really tough place to play. I know they have the history. I know they're getting healthy at the right time. Um, but I don't know. To me, I think San Fran's better. I think San Fran's shot at a Super Bowl is higher. Um, and I really do think there is a little bit of revenge from that NFC Championship game, I think 3 years ago now, where it ended up being Debo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey basically running the Wildcat because Purdy went down with that elbow and Garoppolo was already out. And, it really derailed their season. Probably what looked like their best chance of winning a Super Bowl. So I don't know. A lot of the guys are still there from that team. A lot of the defense is still there, banged up, but McCaffrey's still there. Kittle's still there. Purdy, obviously. Um, I don't know, man. Something I know I'm going straight against the Sharps, and that's probably why I won't end up betting it. I kind of think San Fran wins.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. I can't get behind this Eagles team right now, and I know, like you said, they're getting healthy at the right time. But I just don't know if I want to trust Nick Sirianni in the playoffs. He obviously has some terrible coaching decisions in crunch time, but and they're also the Super Bowl defending Super Bowl champs, and I always usually like to fade that team in the regular season and in the playoffs. So it's a tricky game. Like I said, my favorite bet would be the under. Maybe I'll get involved in some player props as well. Hopefully, I tweet those out, like I said. But if not, you can usually find those games or those bets over on Pickett. But yeah, excited to watch that game. Ultimately, I think the winner of this game wins the next round as well. That would be the Niners, either the Niners at the Seahawks or the Eagles at the Bears. I think the winner of this game moves on to the conference championship game. So keep that in mind for moving forward. I'm interested to see how these lines shake up next week in those games. But that brings us
I
to our.
do,
Go ahead.
I do quick just want to touch on that total. Yeah, I agree with you on the under, and just going back to last night, both overs smashed in
Yep.
those first two games. I expect the over to hit Bills Jaguars, which could also be a good look, but that probably will be a pretty public side. But if that over smashes, I think public's going to keep coming in and betting these overs. They like to already if they go 3-0. So I think if you like the unders, maybe wait, but I like that under San Fran Philly. Looking ahead to the night game, I kind of like that under as well, and I like the under for Monday night as well. So, yeah, I think depending, especially on how this Bills Jags game goes, I think there could be some value on all the unders after that Bills game.
Yeah, it always seems that playoffs, we're 2-0 on the overs. It always seems like it kind of goes 50-50 in regards to the total. So, or maybe if they all go over this round, it's a low scoring divisional round. So just keep that in mind. It seems like it's always ends up 50-50. But yeah, right now overs is definitely hitting. And like you said, I have a hard time seeing that Bills and Jags game going under. So yeah, maybe is some value in the later games for the unders. But that brings us to Sunday night. Tonight's game, Chargers at the Patriots. Patriots are a 3.5 point favorite, over under 45.5. Ethan, God, I'm struggling with this game. I think the Patriots are very similar to the Bears. I think the Patriots are a little better than the Bears. But the Patriots have played the least amount of playoff teams in this playoff bracket. They've only played four. Then they're 2-2 in those games. They beat Buffalo once and they beat Carolina once. So that's a divisional Buffalo. And then they played Carolina, who is the worst playoff team by far. Then they lost to the Steelers and then ultimately lost that other game to Buffalo. So they've really only played three playoff games, or three playoff teams. They played four playoff games, but just a very easy schedule. But like you said, the Chargers are a little banged up here. So I'm really struggling. What do you like? So I'll send it to you. What do you like, Chargers, Patriots?
Yeah, I'm just looking here at the Chargers schedule. They played quite a few playoff teams.
Played six.
Six, okay.
Well, 6 games.
Um, this is just a gut play. I like the Patriots. and I think as of right now, it might be my most confident play of the day. But I don't know. I feel like a broken record, but I think the Chargers are just a year early with their injuries, especially on their O line. I just don't know if they can sustain that. I don't like that they're traveling from LA all the way up to New England to play a Patriots team. I know you kind of came back at me for saying this on our show, but a little bit hungry for more playoff football. Obviously, they have all their championships, but once you get them, it's stings when you aren't getting them. And I just think, that fan base is still very strong. And, I think it's going to be an electric Sunday night atmosphere in Foxborough. Tough travel for the Chargers. They limped into the playoffs, losing their last 2 games. I know they benched everyone in that final game. You can hardly even count that. But I don't know. I'm not like a huge believer in the Patriots at all. I think, like I said, if they match up with Buffalo, I think Buffalo wins. I don't see them getting to the Super Bowl, but I do kind of see them as like Joe Burrow's rookie year or second year when he took the Bengals to the AFC Championship, and I think they led that game late against the Chiefs, and Mahomes pulled one out. And I kind of see this team being similar to that one, so I do like them here. I think they win. I think they cover. I think the Chargers are going to be incredibly good next year if they're healthy, but I just with those 2 tackles, which I know they've been out all year basically. Um, their O line's just a little too shaky. I'm not a huge Herbert guy as of right now. I just kind of a gut play because I'm also not bought in on New England, and especially now hearing that strength of schedule means a lot in the postseason or the wild card round. Obviously makes me nervous to play on New England, but my gut tells me they win and cover.
Yeah, I mean, looking back last night to the Bears game, I know we were both on the Packers, but looking at that one, the Bears almost blew 3 games, or almost blew 3 games against the Bears. Luckily, they lucked out in that first matchup, winning that game. That could have easily gone to OT, and who knows what happens to OT? Well, we do because they lost game 2 in OT in that game. But like looking back at that, it seems like wow, of course the Bears are going to win a comeback game against the Packers. They've almost done it, and I'm looking to fade the Bears moving on, but it's kind of the same thing with New England here. Like, of course they beat the Chargers, who are banged up. Have the worst offensive line statistically in the NFL. So it was like it just makes sense. Like, oh yeah, of course they win that game. And then, like I said, I think we're looking to fade Chicago and the Patriots moving forward. I know I'm beating a broken record here and fading Chicago, but I really don't think they're good. And it's the same thing with New England. So it seems like I know I gave out the Chargers on our show, but I am kind of flipping to New England in this game, especially on the money line. If you do like them in the money line parlay potentially, or just lay a little extra juice, take that money line. But it seems like it's a game where New England, or looking back, you're like, hey, oh, of course New England won that game against a banged up Chargers. So I'm going to switch my bet here to the Patriots. I am looking to fade them heavily next round, either against I guess, who are they? Who can they play?
Buffalo.
Buffalo or
Oh no, they wouldn't play Buffalo.
Yeah, they would play Jags or Texans.
Steelers or Texans.
Steelers or Texans. Yeah. There's a lot of teams they can play. They can't play Buffalo.
Can't play Buffalo
unless it's the Conference Championship,
which I think happens.
Okay. Bills Pats
Conference Championship.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, but this just seems like a game where we're going to have to hold on to New England, hear the hype about the Patriots, hear the hype about Drake May for one more week, and then, or maybe 2 more weeks, and then ultimately fall off. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but I do think they're going to get this game done. So I am flipping my decision to the Patriots in this game, but I'll probably look at some player props because, like I said, I'm in love with NFL player props. It's surprisingly where I make most of my money in the NFL. But and then we do have that Monday night game. We might touch on it tomorrow in a live, but Monday night we have Texans, Steelers. I'm still leaning the Texans in that game, and obviously the under seems pretty obvious. I have a hard time seeing that game go over, but a little scared taking that very obvious under. We'll see how these games go today in regards to the totals. Might influence my decision tomorrow, but I am leaning Texans as of right now, but not super strong on it. How are you feeling quickly on Texans Steelers Monday night?
I don't have a strong lean, so all I'll say is if we are talking next round about the freaking Bears, the Broncos, the Patriots, the Steelers, I'm just gonna be sick because, oh God. I yeah, dude, I can't wait for the Steelers and Bears just to be eliminated. Just can't. That's all I want.
Yeah. I will say the Steelers have played 6 playoff games, but they are only 1-5 in that one with their one win against Patriots. They lost to Seattle, Green Bay, Chargers, Chicago, and Buffalo. So they have the worst record by far of all the playoff teams against other playoff teams. And the Texans have actually played 8 playoff games, and they are 4-4 there with wins against San Fran, Jacksonville, Buffalo, and the Chargers. So again, strength of schedule, I do think Texans have that advantage. I know Ethan says that is an important fact to look at for Wildcard Weekend. But yeah, that's tomorrow's game. Before we get off here, is there anything else you want to talk about, or giving your best bets for the weekend?
Yeah, one last thing I'll say, just because I'm just gonna get on my anti-Steelers soapbox here, but I saw a compilation of the Jets like 8 or 9 closest interceptions this year, because obviously they didn't get one. 3 were against the Steelers, and the Steelers won that game by 2. So yeah, I had Jets money line. They should have won that game outright. Steelers should be like a 4 or 5 win team. But yeah, like I said yesterday, I'll dive into NHL later, and hopefully, we'll have something, because as of right now, I'm not sure what I'll have. Probably nothing in college or pro basketball, maybe some NFL, but we'll tweet out if I dive into NHL. I guess my best, I won't even call them best bets. My best leans, I'm going to give out Buffalo money line, or probably take the 1.5. Patriots minus the 3.5, and then I'll give out Illinois on the money line for college hoop.
I like it. I'll give out Jags first half, or Bills from behind, or Bills live if they're down at plus money. I'll give out Josh Allen touchdown, because I'll most likely be on that. And then I guess I'll take the under in the Niners Eagles as my 3 best bets of the day. But anything else you want to add before we sign off here?
No, yeah, I guess I do kind of like that under in the night game too. That might end
Yep.
up being a bet, but we'll see. I bet that ticks up a point or two with public coming in, so I'd wait on that. But yeah, again, I'll tweet out everything, so I'll probably find a way to play that game.
Yep. Hopefully you guys enjoy this Sunday of Wildcard Weekend. Hopefully you guys win all your bets. We most likely will be live tomorrow talking about the Monday night matchup and any other sports, college basketball, NHL, and NBA for that day. But make sure you guys do stay tuned for our national championship video. We have Miami against Indiana. It's a pretty big spread, but we'll dive into that one. And of course, our NFL divisional round playoff predictions will be available next week once these games come to a conclusion. But make sure you guys do stay tuned. We do talk about all other sports as well. Like Ethan said, college basketball, NHL, NBA, MMA, UFC, and then obviously EPL and European soccer there. If you guys are interested in that, we do cover it all over here at Better and Green. But we appreciate you guys.